What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm back with Hoop. I'm back with DC after our long day of giving the free content out. We got the MLB show back on the premium side, but you got us for free still here at 4:30, bringing you the MLB DFS winners. And we got Hoop, we got DC. Hoop, I'll go over to you first. How is it going over here on a Friday?
Going well, but happy to be back in the office. There's the wife loves like these art shows or craft shows or whatever the hell you call them. And the kids wanted to go and she's like, oh, why don't you come? Why don't you come? I finally caved in and went. Absolute fucking disaster. Glad to be back talking some baseball. I mean, it was hot. The kids, like 5 minutes in, had no interest in being there. And then the wife, she goes, there's probably 300 like stands, people selling their stuff. She has to at least walk by every single one. So it sucked. But like I said, happy to be back in the office talking baseball with my boys here.
Yeah, so this brings me to one, if Big T was asked to go to a craft show. I mean, there's no chance Big T would go to a craft show.
Big T, no.
And second, if Big T went to a craft show, right? And of course he wouldn't. Could you imagine him just 6:30, just setting up shop saying, honey, you go do the crafts, and just having a laptop out with the monitors, making his lineups? That's 100% what would be happening, right, Hoop?
Yeah. I mean, I've witnessed Big T in action front and center with the family and family events. Let me see the best way to put this. He's mastered the craft of wiggling his way out of situations like that. I definitely
you gotta put your foot down. She's got to know I'm not going. Don't even ask anymore. I ain't going.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I already said count me out for next year. So next year, this weekend, no craft show for me. One and done.
Hoop, though, this is what you did. You got the craft show out of the way. When the McGregor fight happens, right? We're not going anywhere, right? Like you did your duty, so you got it out of the way, and you move on. DC, would you be caught at a craft show? Have you been at a craft show yet?
No, I ain't going to no craft show. I ain't going to no farmer's market, right? I'm not doing these things. You listen, honey, you want to go? That's all good. And actually, my girlfriend has a kid, 8 years old, and she goes and runs her errands, right? She's going shopping, whatever. And now the question is like, hey, you want to come with me? And he's like, no, I'm going to play 2K with Pete. Like we're good. So yeah, we're not doing all that.
Yeah, that's a sharp move. Yeah. So my son he's 7 and, he was going to stay back with me. For some reason, he wanted to go. I was like, well, we can stay back. We can go to the park, hit season to baseball. We can go hit some baseballs. He's like, no, I want to go. So that's kind of how I got like roped in, because him and I was trying to pull him on my side and kind of use him as a leverage point to stay. Then he said he's going, and I kind of got dragged in with him, and we were there for 5 minutes, and he's like, I want to leave. I was like, man, I said, I knew this was going to happen. But
I do too, son. I do too.
Yes.
Yes. You have to sit him down right in that moment and say, remember this the next time you're asked to go to a craft show, right? Or some other event,
He'll learn. He won't go to the next craft show. He'll learn.
It was lesson learned for me and him. I mean, my daughter, she's 9. She was loving it right there with mom, checking all the shit out. Yeah. Next year the girls go, the boys stay. That's how it's going to be.
He can help you mow the lawn, right? He can push the lawn more with you, pull some weeds. Yep. You're not going to the craft show. I'll do something productive, but not the craft show.
Yard work over craft show.
Yes.
100%.
100%. Definitely agree with you on that. Hoop, let's also go back to you on the Bucks, right? I mean, what did you think of the game last night, Coach Bud and Title and his squad, right? I don't know if he was out there in the Deer District, but what did you think of that game last night?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you tuned in earlier in the week, but I mean, me and DC kind of laid it out for Title, and I hope he didn't have his hopes up, because me and DC were pretty spot on and tried, talking some sense into him. He was holding out hope. I mean, I wasn't watching the game super closely. I saw him tweeting, oh, Giannis is a man, 13 points in the third quarter. Where's the help? Blah, blah, blah. Well, first off, I know Title's in the chat. First off, Title, he's a superstar of the team. When you're in the NBA Finals, you take those boys, you put them on the shoulder and go. That's his role. Second off, it wasn't good enough. Third, they're still playing Brook Lopez, so they'll continue to lose every game while Brook Lopez is out there. But, long story short, I mean, like DC and I said, the Suns don't need to make adjustments to win games in the series. The Bucks
they're just playing Suns basketball. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was the point that we laid out. We were on the same page. We laid it out to title, got his hopes up. He should have been at the art show instead of watching his shitty Bucks last night. It would have been a better experience for him.
Yeah, all I know is if you're the number 2 guy on the team to close the game, you're not the grown man. That's all. You're Robin. Like, Robin ain't a grown man. We'll have to see. Obviously, Middleton is the guy that gets the job done when it's close. But we'll have to see. Series is still going on. I hope the Suns can close that thing out. DC, it sounds like you were on the Sun side as well. And also, we got a comment in chat that I want to address with you. Brandon says, you want to see a good craft show? Wait till you see the man, the myth, McGregor show off his craft in the UFC this weekend.
His craft is going to be sleeping in the corner again. He's going to get his ass kicked.
I agree with you on that one. And we do have our MMA show coming up tomorrow morning. I'm excited for that one. I know me and Joey Work are on the same page. I think Dustin Poirier is going to dust Conor McGregor in this fight. I really do. I think this whole attitude change from McGregor was like, I'm going to take it seriously now. I'm going to be the mean McGregor. Once you start doing that as a fighter, you're on your way out. And I think, listen, they fought like 3 years ago. I was actually on McGregor in their second fight, so I'll take an L on that one. But, you've got to adjust to new information. I think Poirier is too fast for McGregor. McGregor's a counterpuncher, right? He's looking for that big left. I think Poirier is just going to come down the middle and light him up with volume early. I think Poirier is going to finish this fight in the first round. First round KO is my prediction for that one. So we'll break down that fight and all the others. I think there's 13 fights on this card, something like that. Love that MMA show with Joey Work and Titletown every UFC pay-per-view on Saturday morning. So I love doing these shows. Honestly, I really do. But that show, when it happens, twice a month, once or twice a month is my favorite show to do here at Run Pure Sports. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. So let me break down the schedule for the rest of the week, right? We got right now, 4:30, we got the MLB show. We'll be getting to the MLB shortly. Then we got 6 p.m. We got Big T, JSU Holden. They'll be bringing you everything that you guys need over here on the premium side. Then tomorrow we have on the bet side. So if you go to Run Pure Bets YouTube channel, right, we got Joey Work, we got Holden, we got Lisa Ann. They're going to be talking some UFC over there on the bet side. So don't miss out on that. Go to Run Pure Bets, subscribe so you're notified when it's live, but it will be 11 a.m. And then after that, you can shoot on over to this channel that you're already going to like this video. You're going to like that video. And you're already subscribed to the channel. So you'll know when it goes live at 12. So be sure to do that. Will be DC, Titletown, Joey Work breaking down all the UFC and the entire card. And DC is going to be bringing it. Joey Work will be bringing you the winners. And Title will be bringing you the DFS breakdown as well. So don't miss out on that. Hoop, you'll be surely tuning into both of those, right? I mean, it's a great time and you love the UFC as well.
I said it yesterday. I mean, the MMA show I think it's like one of the best shows we do at Run Pure Sports. I mean, and part of it is it's once a month. So it's a unique, setting, but it's just a phenomenal show. I mean, the guys have done a great job. Title, DC, and Joey Work. It's a great combination. I love it. I definitely will be tuning in. I'm going to be playing some MMA tomorrow. Looks like a fun card. I mean, like I said, I'm a novice to MMA, UFC, but I've kind of got into it a little bit more. And there's something to be said about putting two guys in a cage. And, it's very most cases. I hate the judging aspect of it. It bothers me a little bit when there's split decisions and all that. But going into the cage, more times than not, one guy's coming out on top. It's just cool to see.
One of the, we're obviously playing, DFS for money. We're trying to get the winners, but like one thing that's still fun to me, even if you just kind of remove the money aspect of it, is like seeing if you're right. Like seeing like, oh, I break down a game or a fight or a matchup this way. And finding out if you're right. And the best sport for that is MMA, right? Like there's two fighters. I mean, Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. It's straight up. If you look at the Vegas odds, straight up pick them basically. I think a little money on Poirier coming in, but like you find out, right? This will be a fight that will have a definitive ending to it. This won't go to the judges, right? It's one of these guys is getting knocked out. I think in the first couple rounds. I'm on the Poirier side. I think I'll be right, but I don't know for sure. And you get all the money involved. You can kind of get lost a little bit, but like the point of the game is to be right about player analysis, right? Who are the good players? Who's going to win this matchup? And I love MMA for that reason, because a lot of the time it's not like, oh, my fighter was unlucky or my player hit 2 warning track fly balls, right? It's like, no, he got knocked out or he knocked out the other guy, and I was right or I was wrong. And I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a great part of it. Yeah, you love being right when you can pick stuff, and when you're right, you want to win some money too, as well.
Of course.
Hey, we do our best to help you do that. We bring you the core plays. We got the PGA content, MMA, NASCAR. We have it all. Again, use that code OPEN50 to get 50% off your first payment. Hoop, we got a little bit of a quiet week with the MLB. That code OPEN50. We're doing the Millie Maker giveaway on the Tuesday golf show. Tell the people a little bit about that, and then we'll dive into the MLB.
Yeah, Open50 is basically a promo code that gets you 50% off your first payment of a monthly package over at Run Pure Sports. And not only do you get the 50% off for a month, you also are entered into a drawing to be eligible to win some Millie Maker tickets for the Open Championship, the $100 Millie Maker. And the number of tickets we give out is going to kind of be dependent on how many people use that promo code Open50. So the more people that use it, the more tickets that we're going to give away. So you apply that at checkout at a monthly package, you get 50% off. Before we get into the baseball, though, Mangone, someone in the chat brought up a good point. How was your round of golf this morning?
It wasn't bad. I got some new clubs, so I bought a whole brand new because my irons were really bad.
What kind of clubs you get? Give us some details.
I got the Cobras. So I went to the store. I had these crappy pings or whatever, and I went and I showed the guy. I said, I need better irons. These things are terrible. And he goes, these things are actually awful. Like
it's the club's fault.
He said they're really bad. I some type of pings. I don't know. He described what they were. He said they're actually terrible. And he was laughing with the other golf guys at the store about how bad they were. And the new clubs aren't bad. I didn't do too bad. Shot a 44 on the 9, so no complaints. Not bad.
Nice.
But of course, it wasn't like a clean 44. So I took a shot one time on one of the par 3s, right? And I had the iron out and I said, well, let me try my 7 now, because I'm testing out the clubs, and that one was better. So I shot the better ball here and there, but I'm trying new clubs out. So trying to work it together. So hopefully whenever we have that Run Pure Open, whenever we do play, hopefully I can do my best.
That's going to be awesome. We really got to do that.
Yes.
No doubt.
I'm going to take charge of that one. I'm going to plan the Run Pure Open here in Denver.
Be awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Big T's the favorite, right? Is it Big T or Snyder? I don't know who the best is. Is it one of those two?
Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask Big T, he's probably going to say it's him. But
I can stripe it a little bit. I can shoot in the high 70s on a good day.
Yeah. So you got to be up there for sure.
I'm not conceding anything here.
Yeah, I know Snyder's pretty good. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get it going. Uncle T, we'd love to see him on the links. I wonder how he hits. Is he better than Big T? Who's the better golfer between the two?
I'm assuming Big T is better than Uncle T.
Uncle T's like on the senior tour, right? I mean, I got to go with the younger fella here.
And then Uncle T's in there saying, can't wait to play Mangone and Hoop on the links. Buddy, you don't get a chance to wager against me and Mangone until you pay up on your initial loss. Like you still owe us
lunch on the links. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Play around
You got to take us to lunch before we hit the links. I mean, you got to slow your roll a little bit.
Yeah, and Jeremy's asking, are members invited to this golf thing? I don't think it's like the worst idea to get some members.
Oh yeah,
possibly.
There's definitely we get all the all the coordinators in there. I bet we can get maybe 16 of us perhaps. Oh, yeah. I would say at a Run Pure Open, and then of course we're giving out additional
golf packages.
Golf packages to enter. And I actually tried to design this with my hometown friends one time. Here's the key: it's a 2-day event. You play the first round, and the first half of the field advances to the championship round on day 2. The other half must caddy for the people that advance. Ooh. You got to carry their bags if you got eliminated. That's
high stakes right there.
Yeah.
That's a great.
And you got to wear a white master suit. You got to go buy white pants at the thrift shop.
Now there's a good job for Uncle T. Be Hooper Mangone's caddy. He'd be a perfect caddy for us.
Now here's my question too, DC. Is this just like we're playing solo, or do you have a duo combo?
No. You got to have a partner, right? So half the teams are eliminated. Teams of 2. You play the course, you get your initial score. Half the teams advance, half don't. The half that do not must caddy. And you could even do it match play, right? Like, okay, so it's like, say you and me are partners, Mangone. We're up against Hoop and Uncle T. We beat them. Then on day 2 for the championship round, Hoop and Uncle T must caddy for us because we defeated them. It could work. I
like that. That is good format.
Yeah. I have many questions, but here's another question with it. I need to know this one, and then we can move on. Are we randomly picking? Do you pick out your partner? How does that
It's got to
work?
be handicap based, right?
You're putting me on the spot. I'm trying to figure this out. I was prepared for baseball, but now we're talking golf. I think it needs to be seeded in some way. I don't know who the seeding, but yeah, we got to try to make it as fair as possible.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll definitely have to look at that. I'm excited. Hopefully we can get it going at some point. It would be a good time. Get everyone together, have a blast, watch some sports. Also, of course, whenever lock is, right? If it's 7:00, we can't be golfing then. Make sure whenever.
Yeah.
We're free as well.
We don't want to go too early because I'm sure a few of us, maybe many of us, will have a little hangover. But we'll get it going, like 10, 11 in the morning, something like that.
Bloody Mary and hit the course.
Yeah.
We'll all be at a disadvantage in DFS with Big T if it's at lock, because he'll bring out the computer, right? He'll have it all set and we'll be on our phone. So. But that'll wrap up all that talk. Let's dive in and let's talk about some MLB. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got like 400 in here, 102 likes. So let's get those up, and then we'll be giving out those plays for you guys. We'll wait for some more people to file in here around 5:00, and then we'll kind of decide what the number is. But DC, I'll go over to you. It's a Friday, right? We don't got a split slate. Got a ton of games to talk about here. It's not a 5-gamer. It's a 14-gamer. So it's a beast. Give me your overall takeaway on how you're handling this slate.
This is one of my favorite slates of the year. Just straight up. I absolutely love this slate. I've seen people on Twitter saying, oh, there's no pitching on the slate. I agree to an extent that there's no pitching to necessarily pay up for. There's no necessarily super safe options. But these are the slates I like, right? Where you can kind of hopefully find some cheaper pitchers that you think are going to perform. And this slate has a few of them that I think are going to have good games that are cheaper. I'm not saying they're going to be super under the radar. I think, most people will go that way. But like if you look at, the 3 highest priced pitchers, the 4 highest priced pitchers on this slate are Taylor Widener, Jake Odorizzi, Alex Cobb, and Wade Miley, which – for a Friday night, a 14-game slate, that's the worst 4 pitchers I would guess in DFS history for a slate this big, right? The worst 4 highest priced pitchers is my point. And I'm not going to play any of those guys. I have literally no interest in any of those guys. I do have a lot of interest in some cheaper pitchers. We'll talk about them as we go along here. And it's not just like, oh, these guys are cheap and, could get the job done. It's like a group of guys that I really believe in that are cheap. And then you've got, in my opinion, a couple just tremendous stacks, in part due to the foreign substance crackdown. Again, we're just seeing this just have a tremendous effect on baseball. I know people like to underplay it and say I talk about it too much, whatever, but like there's no denying it. It's had a tremendous impact on the game. So I'm really, really excited for this slate. I think I might end up 150 maxing this $6 tournament because I feel good about this one.
All right, excited to get your full breakdown on that. Hoop, man, the chat's got to know, right? Maybe you've golfed with G Rising before, but Adam says, I want G Rising carrying my bag, so there's always Modelo's at the ready. Got to be Modelo's stuffed in that bag, right?
Oh, there has to be. Yeah, he's definitely a drinker, heavy drinker on the course, but I will say he's pretty good at golf. He's one of those guys that's good at the leisure sports, golf, bowling. He's really good bowler. And
us drinkers are good at the leisure sports.
Yeah. Bowling's definitely my top thing. Golf, I'm not great at. Good at the bags. Uncle T can attest to that. He lost some shoes to hoop in the cornhole pits. But G Rising, he's a solid golfer. He's one of those guys, he's a heavy boozer, like DC said, so he's good at those sports where booze can potentially help you. Golf. Uncle T is just sending me nonstop text messages. Does he not realize that we're on a show? Like just text after text after text. What's he got on here? Me and Big T just left Top Tracer Golf. Blah, blah, blah. 95, 93 for Uncle T. Big T, 85 and 80. So what does that mean? Big T's like 10 strokes better than Uncle T.
I'm scared of Big T.
Hey, listen, Uncle T, just if you want, grab a link to the show. You know where the link is.
Yeah, just get on in. Take a seat.
If you're a member and you're watching the show and you want to go to the RPS Open and you're good at golf, DM me because I want to be your partner. I want to partner up with a member.
DC is already looking for a really good member. That's a good call, by the way. Find a sneaky good member, get him in there now. DM me too.
We definitely have some. I'm no doubt about it.
So in terms of the baseball, like clearly we have some elite offenses, and this is a very fun slate for offense. Pitching, yeah, I mean it's challenging. I mean, but to me though, it's pretty easy. There's only like 3 pitchers that I'm playing, and I'm just gonna play those guys and play the offenses I like and kind of move on. Like I'm just not messing around with many of these pitchers. There's 3 I feel comfortable with. I'm gonna play them and kind of screw the rest, to be honest.
Tell me who they are. Unless are you hoping to find the payroll?
Yeah, I'm keeping it very simple at pitchers. Charlie Morton, Taijuan Walker, and Maeda are the only 3 guys I'm probably willing to play on the slate. Maybe DC talks me into some other guys. I know he's probably dug pretty deep into all this, but as it stands now, those are the only 3 guys I'm playing.
So I'll say this: those are definitely the 3 I've keyed in on as well. I had added Zach Thompson, but he did get scratched, right? So that's important to note. Marlins are going to do more of a bullpen game. And I also did not mind Alex Manoah, right? And I saw some people in the chat talking about it. DC, we'll go over to you. Talk about him as a cheap option and give us like your full overall pitcher breakdown. Because you said it. I mean, it's not the greatest pitcher slate, but there is enough where you can get by today.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on most of the same guys. I think you'll see Taijuan Walker come in as the highest owned pitcher on the slate. Is that a doubleheader for the Mets? I think I'm not sure, but it doesn't really affect Walker that much. So yeah, he's a good play, but I do prefer Charlie Morton over him. I mean, I've been on the Charlie Morton train for most of the season. At the beginning, it was rough. His last start didn't go that great. The start before that, he gave up a 3-run home run on in the 7th inning on his last batter. But man, this guy I think is going to have a very, very strong second half of the season. He does not appear to be affected by the foreign substance crackdown whatsoever. I think he's going to emerge as this sounds kind of crazy for Charlie Morton, but like a top 10 pitcher, fantasy pitcher for baseball. So I love Morton here going into Miami. Great place to pitch. Not a scary lineup, even though they do have some emerging hitters. So yeah, I love Charlie Morton at 9,600. Clearly he's above the guys priced ahead of him. I don't think it's frankly even close. Talked about Taijuan Walker, and then 3 guys right around that 7K range, I think are all very strong plays. Kenta Maeda, another guy that has burned me this season for sure, but coming off his best start of the year. I've never really lost faith in him. I still think, listen, I mean, he finished like 3rd or 4th in the Cy Young voting in 2020. I still think he has that pitcher in him. You know, I said it about Charlie Morton. I said it about Luis Castillo. They've turned it around. And I've said it about Kenta Maeda, and I do think he is going to turn it around. Gets a good matchup against Detroit at home, and coming off his best start of the year, 7,100. I think he's a very, very strong option. I was with you, Mangone, on Zach Thompson. I actually didn't see that he got scratched. I was in on him for sure against the Braves. I'm a believer in him, but obviously off the slate now. And then Alek Manoah is my actual favorite play on this slate. 7K going up against Tampa Bay. Listen, a little bit of a tough matchup, and you know you always have a little bit of hesitancy when Vegas isn't with you, right? I mean, the Rays have a 4.5 team total on this slate, so they're kind of saying I don't know, but man. I'm a believer in this guy. I was kind of a believer when he came up, struggled for a couple starts. But listen, the future of pitching, right, is going to come from the minor leagues at some point. It just is a fact of life. Manoah was, I thought, the best pitching prospect in the minors. Took him a little bit to figure out major league pitching. Kind of the same as Logan Gilbert, right? If you played him on yesterday's afternoon slate, you got a near shutout against the Yankees. I think Manoah is about to hit his stride, and good pitcher's park in Tampa, right? You don't have to deal with 90-degree weather anywhere. I think Manoah might be about ready to go on a run here. So Manoah, Maeda, and Charlie Morton, the guys I'm looking at. I will throw in Shane McClanahan for the Rays in that same game. Tough matchup against the Blue Jays. I get it. I totally get it. But this guy has elite stuff. I do think if he's on his game, this is a guy that, could strike out the first 6 batters of the game. He's that type of pitcher. So I will throw him into the mix as a tournament option. I don't think you'll get him highly owned at all.
DC, let me ask you one more guy, right? And then I want to ask you a FanDuel question because the pricing on FanDuel is a lot different than DK, so probably worth talking about. But
Sure.
Alex Cobb, right? So I just looked, looked at the game logs, right? Played Detroit 3 games ago. He had a nice 47 spot, right? Played Tampa Bay, didn't go as well, obviously. Played Baltimore. He had a nice 48 on FanDuel again. And this is Seattle, right? And it's in Seattle where it's a little bit better because of that humidor. I mean, Baltimore, Detroit, Seattle, those offenses seem like they have some similarities, right? So what do you think of an Alex Cobb here? Is he someone that could be low and that you can get away with?
Yeah, for sure. I like him on FanDuel at the cheaper price point. If he was cheaper on DraftKings, right, he's 9,800, which is I can't recommend him over Charlie Morton, but Cobb, we've seen a lot of really strong games, right? I mean, 25 plus fantasy point games on the year. What does he have? Like 6 or 7 of them? He's had some bad starts too. So his thing is he needs hitters to chase his split finger fastball, right? Because he's trying to get ahead and then he's trying to get a chase over the top of that pitch where it dives under the bat. And you get him against some teams and they can recognize it and they're just like, nah, like the Astros, I'm not swinging at that. And then he doesn't really have much to offer. But I mean, against Seattle, yeah, I think they'll chase that pitch, right? I think they'll swing and miss over the top of that pitch. So I'm with you on Alex Cobb. He was going to be the other guy that I mentioned. And yeah, what's his price on FanDuel? Is he's cheap over there?
So Cobb is 8.8, but that's not the big one, right? So the big thing is Alek Manoah, highest priced pitcher on the slate, 10.3K.
I actually don't have a problem with that. I would not be at all surprised if Alek Manoah leads this slate in fantasy points.
Now, Charlie Morton, 10K, right? So I assume you're going to get really low ownership on Manoah. But the other thing I want to ask is I think a lot of people are looking at Morton and Maeda, right? And Maeda is 7.3K. So what would you do between paying up or going to a Maeda at 7.3?
Yeah, I mean, I love Maeda too. I think you can kind of get the stacks that you want. We'll get there. I have strong opinions on the stacks tonight too. But yeah, I mean, I love Maeda tonight. I think he's going to pitch well. Listen, I've been wrong on him a lot of the year. I said that previously, and so I am a little gun shy there because it's just like, man, how many times can a guy burn you before you're like, I'm not playing this guy? But he's just too cheap. And coming off a 36 DraftKings fantasy point game, I'm still a believer. So yeah, I think he's a very strong option. I'm sure he'll be popular, right? What is he, minus 240, something like that in this matchup? That's going to draw a lot of people in.
Hope, how about you? I know you play some FanDuel, right? You had a nice little team yesterday. Are you thinking of spending up or are you spending down for a guy like a Maeda? Again, you talked about having a tight pitching pool. So how are you handling it on FanDuel?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, as it stands right now, it's going to be those same 3 guys. It's going to be Morton. It's going to be Walker and Maeda. And this is an interesting slate in the fact that Maeda is so cheap where you can play like the top offenses easily with him. What I'd recommend doing though, in the large field tournaments, if you're going to play Maeda, leave some money on the table, like not just like a couple $100. There's a real chance if you're going to play Maeda here. I mean, there's a real chance he's the highest scoring pitcher on the slate at $7,300. So it doesn't really matter about maxing out your salary at all. Like you leave money on the table if you're playing him to get way different in the larger, like the higher stake stuff probably doesn't matter as much, but in the large field tournaments, leave big chunks of money because it's just so easy to play him with these top offenses.
Not that Hoop needs it, but I agree. That's very strong advice. I think salary, I wouldn't really worry about it.
It doesn't matter.
Make the team you want and roll with it because you can make a very, very strong team with 1,000 plus on both sides, right? Left on the table.
Yep. Correlation is king. Hoop gave his pitcher rankings. I'm sort of similar to him, right? We talked about those 3 guys. DC, give your overall pitcher rankings, and then we'll move on to the hitters.
Yeah, I'm playing Manoah here against Tampa. Just a kind of conviction play there for me. I'll go Morton 2, Maeda 3, and McClanahan 4, but a lot of Manoah and Charlie Morton for me.
All right. Here's one last question I'll ask because it's an ownership question. I know you like to laugh at these, so that's why I want to ask you. Morton, Maeda, Manoah, all are going to be 30% owned. Doesn't that concern you? First of all, not all are going to be 30%.
No.
What is it, 90% of the field then? At least I'm thinking FanDuel. But DK, I don't know. I'm not that worried about it, right? You just you play whoever you want.
There's just not that many pitches that you can play, right? I mean, just play. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And pitcher, I don't worry as much at pitcher. Like we know Like on a smaller baseball slate, we know who's going to be like the Blue Jays have been so popular the last few weeks because of their matchups and everything. Like those guys are going to come in at super high ownership. We have a 14-game slate today, especially. It's going to be super spread out. I mean, you can get like the third or fourth best offense on the slate, probably mostly under 10% owned. You don't need to worry about it. Today is just not a day to overthink it with ownership. You know, some of these offenses might be popular. Very easy in baseball to get different. Like go to the bottom, play the guys at the bottom of the lineup. Even in the popular offenses, guys at the bottom come in low owned. So, you know, to me, it's pretty easy to get around the ownership stuff in baseball. With pitchers, I really don't care. Like I'm assuming DC, you're the same way with pitching. Like you dig in, you dig at the stats, you know, most likely more times than not who you want at pitcher. You're not going to let ownership on most slates dictate what you do at pitcher, right?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go at pitcher. And the reason behind it compared to hitters, right? Hitters, you get 4 or 5 chances to realize your value. Pitchers, you get 25 to 30 batters. So it's much more likely to come through if you're kind of right about the matchup. I will say, you know, if there's 2 pitchers that are priced around each other and I got them ranked close to each other, right? I'm not sure which one to go to. Then, of course, if I think one is going to be twice as owned as the other, I'll go to the cheaper guy. But I'm not going to – I will never recommend pitchers who I don't think have a good chance of actually succeeding. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to play someone because he's 1% owned and he's some shitbag pitcher. Like, that's not how you do it with pitcher. You got to find some guys you think you can do it. And, like, these 7K guys, Maeda, Manoah, McClanahan, I think they could easily be the SP1 on the slate. So when that's the case and they're 7K, yeah, I'm going to roll with it.
Look at that. My golf caddy just showed up. Thanks for coming.
What's up, boys?
There he is.
Uncle T, love to see it.
Give us the breakdown. How was the links today? I mean, you were just out there with Big T, so give us the breakdown of what happened.
No, we were actually supposed to play a really nice course up in Ohio this morning, and couple of guys we were playing with bailed out, so we ended up going to a place called Top Tracer Golf. It's a brand new facility where we're, you know, about 10 minutes from our house, and it was pretty sweet. You could play all the courses virtually or whatever, but take your own clubs and everything, and they track everything. It was pretty nice, actually. We played Royal St. George's, where they'll be at next week, and then we played Little Pebble Beach, so wasn't bad.
Did you find out about how sticky the rough is, or what kind of green they got at Royal St. George's?
I called Schneider to get the salt levels and stuff on the greens, but he hasn't gotten back with me on the temperature of the greens and everything. So I'll let you know on that when he gets back with me.
Please do.
Yeah, definitely. You got to get all those breakdowns from Snyder. You know, Hoop, I know, loves the layer rough. How much layer rough was there, Uncle T? Hoop needs to know, right, Hoop?
Very important information. What's the layer? How many layers are we looking at?
On what? The ones we played today?
The one for next week. I don't care about Pebble. Whatever that one's called.
You don't want to hit it wayward there, that's for sure. Well, hey, we don't want to give away too much. We got all kinds of coverage next week. We're going to give the people. We don't need to tell them early. We got to wait till next week.
One of my favorite things about the virtual golf course, right, where you're hitting into the screen and it like shows you where your ball goes. You can hit it into the rough. You're still hitting off the same mat, right? If you're in the rough, so you might as well bomb it down there.
Yep.
That would be sweet though, to get at one of those places that literally like it adjusts.
You should have to drop your ball in like a
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, DC, I got one more question because it's a member, right? It's a member in the free YouTube chat, right? But that member won 50K last night, right? That's Fran, Mr. Millionaire, right? He's been crushing it over here at Run Pure. So I want to answer the question for him. I want to help him out.
Sure.
So let's answer it. Tristan McKenzie on FanDuel. Any love for a Tristan McKenzie today, DC?
No. I was a fan of him kind of coming into the year a little bit, but his velocity has been way down from what it was last year and just hasn't pitched well. I will be honest, I did not dig into McKenzie today. It just wasn't on my radar whatsoever at 9,400, especially on DraftKings. So at least possible I've missed something with him, but initial reaction, no interest.
All right, Uncle T, give us your pitchers, then we'll go on to the hitters, right? What's your pitcher breakdown here? I don't know if you've been golfing too much today and where you on research, but give us the pitcher breakdown.
Hey, we were on the pod last night. Uncle T is prepared here.
All right, Uncle T, you're on mute.
He's unprepared with his mic that's muted.
Yeah.
I got a clear picture though. Hoop, give me a break. We did the pod last night, and I agree with DC that I like slates like this to where you don't have 3, 4, 5 guys up top to where you can gravitate towards and kind of start your builds. It takes a little more thought and a little more, you know what I mean, kind of how you want to do it, because there isn't any top end guys. And for me, you know, I didn't catch a little bit of y'all's pitching breakdown, but I got the same pool of pitchers DC had from last night. I've got Morton, Walker up top, and I've got Maeda, Thompson, and Manoah down below. And after that, I'm just not going any further. I don't think you need to grab 6, 7, 8 of these guys. I think you should limit it to, at least I'm going to limit it to 3 or 4 pitcher pool, and I'm just going to go with it and mix and match my hitting. There's so much good hitting out there tonight that I think if we can peg these pitchers right and mix and match some of them, I think we're going to be in good shape. So,
Uncle T, how much Thompson are you going to play tonight?
I've got 4 lineups right now. I may add a 5th. I actually like Thompson a lot, and it's the same reasons that you guys probably like him. It's, you know, the park. I mean,
don't tell him.
Is this an inside joke I'm missing?
Zach Thompson will not be pitching today.
He's not pitching. Well, I just got home a half hour ago.
It was just like 15 minutes ago. It was too easy.
You guys set me up. Unbelievable.
Give this boomer a break. Come on.
I come in and you guys set me up. That's very hard.
It wouldn't be fun if not, you know.
I said I got in a half hour ago. I haven't researched hardly anything. So
yeah, I mean, Uncle T, I would have cut him off and saved you, but I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day because I haven't had my lunch. So. Gosh, still waiting to eat my lunch, Uncle T. But
I will have no Thompson then.
All right, no Thompson for Uncle T. Let's move on to the hitters, though. And listen, catcher, JT Realmuto's 3.8, and I like some Phillies today. DC, I'll go over to you. I mean, JT Realmuto just seems like a smash play here. Are you just load him in your lineups, or are you finding ways to get different at catcher?
Yeah, he's the primary play. We'll talk about sacks, obviously, at the tail end of the show, but I've talked about Garrett Richards a lot for Boston. He's one of the, you know, everyone talks about the foreign substance crackdown with guys like Garrett Cole, right, who's taken just a massive step back. Lucas Giolito, we've seen it. A number of other pitchers. It's also affected some fringe pitchers, which Garrett Richards was kind of to begin with. And I would actually say no one's been affected in terms of their location and spin rate as much as Garrett Richards has. So I love the Phillies today against Garrett Richards. I think he's going to get blasted. I'll go so far as to say I think Garrett Richards gets DFA'd. I think he gets cut after this start for Boston because Philly blasts him so hard. That's my prediction for Garrett Richards tonight. So give me all the Philly bats, including, of course, JT Realmuto at 3,800. Clearly the best catcher tonight.
All right, Hoop, you had a good team with the Phillies yesterday, right? So will JT Realmuto be on your team, and will he be blasting off on Garrett Richards today?
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up on the show. I said, you know, I kind of like the Phillies. I mean, they're one of the stacks I talked about at the end, under the radar. No one was really on them. And like I said, they got hot. Obviously, the wind helped them, those wind games. They absolutely bombed it, but they're still swinging it pretty good. And what do you know? I mean, last night, teed off. And I mean, obviously, a lot of it was Brad Miller, who had the 3 home runs, but Didi had a nice one. They're just a hot offense right now. And, you know, I'm hoping –
they're going to smash tonight. They're going to smash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the ownership stays in check. Like I said, I'm not overly concerned with the ownership. There's enough offenses. They don't have the highest team total on this slate. I think
it's way too low.
Yeah. I mean, when I looked at this slate and pulled up, maybe I'm a little biased because, like you said, I had that good team last night that almost shipped everything. It did really well, but man, they're my favorite offense tonight. Hoping the ownership stays in check and isn't too crazy. The prices on DK aren't doing them any favors. I mean, just way too cheap for their offense, which, you know, is a little worrisome. But when we don't have the pitchers to pay up for, you know, maybe that actually helps them, where people force in spend ups instead of just playing them. So love the Phillies. Realmuto, the clear play at catcher. I mean, some other guys you can consider if you don't want to go there. Will Smith, 4.4K. Another guy that I talked about a couple shows ago, John Hicks, 5 home runs in the last week, and he's batting 5th tonight against a lefty. I like him tonight as well, but you know, Realmuto is the clear-cut top option here for me.
And Fran in the chat says, DC calling for a guy's career to end tonight. How do you do that? Uncle T, are you playing some JT Realmuto, and is it the Garrett Richards goodbye tour tonight? Is he just absolutely going to get shelled?
Yeah, I mean, to start this show coming on, me and DC are locked arm in arm here. I don't know that he'll lose his job tonight, but that's definitely I'm targeting both sides of that game in Fenway tonight. I actually like both sides of that game. In Real Muto, I was talking again on the pod last night. I don't understand what's up with the pricing. It's what the last week to 10 days, the pricing on Real Muto has been, it feels like $1,200 to $1,500 cheaper than we're normally used to seeing him. I just don't get it, but I'm just going to keep playing him. I mean, there's no reason really not to. So I agree with the Real Muto call. Will Smith's one of my favorite players at catcher tonight. I liked him with they originally were going up against the lefty, right? And then Widener's in. Is that another one that got changed while I was out golfing today? So, but I do like Will Smith as well. And then I'll throw in one more guy at catcher. If he cracks the lineup, and he should, out in Seattle, I like Max Stassi, 3,900 going up against Gonzalez. I don't love the ballpark, but Stassi can definitely square one up against Gonzalez in that matchup.
Yeah, Stassi could definitely square one up. Let's move on, though, and go over to the first base position. And I'll go over to you, DC, and I think it's a great way to spend your money today. Will Smith was mentioned. The Dodgers are going to be mentioned. We got to talk about Max Muncy. We talked about the Phillies. You got to talk about Rhys Hoskins. And I haven't mentioned him yet, DC, but the White Sox are playing, and they're playing against the Lopez, and that's not Pablo Lopez. It's not George Lopez, right? It's Jorge Lopez, and he's not very good. So give me some Jose Abreu today. It is expensive at 6-0. But I'm still okay with it. I think there's some really good spend up first baseman. And I didn't even mention Vlad Guerrero Jr., DC. So what are you doing at first base? Are you spending up?
Yeah, I think this is for the most part, a spend position. I'll say this, man. If you want to go to a show that's like this player is projected for 0.08 more DraftKings points on the slate, there's other shows you can go to. On this show, we're calling for players to lose their job because they get rocked so hard, and that's Garrett Richards tonight. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I think Abreu is a solid play, but honestly didn't even make my list because this position is so loaded. I'll use my little my time here that you're giving me to talk about the Twins. I know I'm a Twins homer, and Travis, I know you've banned me from mentioning guys like Alex Kirilloff and Trevor Larnach, but I'm not following the ban today because I've been hooped. I mean, we do these shows, 4 or 5 days a week. I've been talking about how bad Matt Manning is. Every start since his first one, I'm saying this guy's underlying metrics are just not tenable. Like, he is going to get shelled until he changes something, until he increases the metrics, and it hasn't happened. And we've seen him. What has he been negative in his last 3 starts? It's going to happen again tonight. And Matt Manning will have a negative outing tonight, and when that happens, what happens to the opposing stack? It goes off, and then you get into the Detroit bullpen. So I am all in on the Twins tonight. I posted this in Discord at 10 in the morning, doing my initial research. Which, by the way, if you're not a premium member, Open 50, get in there because we're talking baseball all day long. 209 qualified starting pitchers in baseball this year. If you look at swinging strike rate, right? So that's just how often can you throw a pitch that a hitter swings and whiffs at. Matt Manning's dead last, 209th out of 209 starters, despite some relatively good matchups. Nothing's going to change for him. He is not ready. And I can't tell you for sure that the Twins, when they square him up, they're going to go over the fence as opposed to be caught at the warning track. But if you stack the Twins tonight and you load this game up, they are going to barrel up Matt Manning batter after batter, and it could get really, really ugly for him. So long story short, Alex Kirilloff, my top option. Other guys I'm looking at, Matt Olson against Jordan Lyles, who sucks. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., of course, just because he's Vladdy. Like Bobby Bradley, who shows a lot of power. He needs a good matchup. He's got one tonight. And then Carlos Santana for the Royals. So that's my top 5. But Kirilloff, I would take him, even if you take Price out of it, as the top first baseman tonight.
DC, you haven't checked the cash chart today. Mr. Trevor Larnach has made it on the cash chart.
All right. Here we go.
I just added Alex Kirilloff because I went back and forth, and I had O'Hearn on there, but I don't know. I think that first base is too deep.
Man, I'm telling you, Alex Kirilloff is barreling some baseballs up today.
I put him on there. No green button on him yet, but I put him on.
Put it on.
Definitely gets the.
I'll go in there. I got access too. I'll go put it on for you.
All right. Well, Hoop, DC was mentioned in the projections. So I know you're over there tinkering your projections now that Zach Thompson's not in the lineup. So is Freddie Freeman now your top first baseman after you've tinkered all your projections? Hoop?
Yeah, my personal model has made an adjustment on the Braves batters tonight. They all went up between 0.54 and 0.79 fantasy points based on Thompson getting scratched. So somewhere in that range, all those hitters in that Braves lineup got a corresponding bump in the Hoop baseball projections. Yeah, so I mean DC hit. I mean I love Kirilloff. I love the Twins tonight. Good price tag on him. In tournaments, if you do play Kirilloff and you want to get different, play Sano at 3.7 on DK is cheap on FanDuel. The good thing about the Twins lineup overall is you can go all the way through, like 1 through 8. Very, very solid with differing degrees of upside. We have some cheap guys you can play here, some full punts. Christian Walker is 2.2K and Andy Ibanez is 2.2K. Do you need to do that on the slate? Probably not, because we don't have to pay up at pitching. We can probably spend at every position. But if for some reason you need to, that's options. And then Max Muncy as well, like the Dodgers tonight. He's in play. But, yeah, DC hit on a lot of the guys that I'm looking at here.
All right, so Uncle T, I want to ask you about your first baseman, but I just saw you sipping a drink over there. So since I didn't have lunch, at least tell me what you had for lunch. What'd you have for lunch over there, Uncle T?
Oh, hell, I'm playing injured the last couple of days. I got a summer cold I've been working on the last couple of days, so I've been struggling quite a bit here. But no, I got just a little bit of a McDonald's, just a little quick 10-piece nugget in a drink. That's all. I don't eat much. I'm not like Big T. I don't eat much. So
Uncle T, you already have confirmed had COVID twice, so maybe you got a third case.
I'm old. It's unbelievable. If I get it a third time, it's great. It's crazy.
You fought it off twice. I'm backing you for the third. I got Uncle T minus 200,000 against the third case of COVID.
You'll be ready for the next set of lockdowns, Uncle T. Yeah. Uncle T will be the only one allowed to roam the streets because he's had it 3 times. Everyone else is on full lockdown again. Uncle T can just roam freely.
It's unbelievable. Week on the beach in Destin, I come back, I get a summer cold. It's crazy. So don't ever get old, you guys. Don't ever get old. Stay young.
If you see anyone driving around with 2 masks on, it's probably Uncle T. He is trying
to. That's why he keeps getting COVID. He's got a mask up.
Yeah, that definitely won't be me. I'm definitely non-mask guy. So, but no, as far as
give us the first baseman, Uncle T.
Yeah, you got Hoop and DC mentioned a lot of the guys I had on here. I'll just mention a couple that they didn't. I don't mind either first baseman in the Baltimore game with Mancini, 4.3K. And Mountcastle 3.4. I don't mind either one of those guys. They feel pretty cheap. And, Sano 3.7. I don't love it, but you can go to him. And another guy I'll mention, JT Brubaker, the last couple outings hasn't been very good. He's allowed 6 home runs, I think, his last 3 outings. So Pete Alonso at 4.9K. I have some interest there. So just a couple different guys that they didn't mention.
All right, DC, we'll go over to you and talk about second baseman. Before we do that, we got almost 500 watching. We got 165 likes. It's only 5:20. We're not getting out of here at 5:30, DC. Buckle up. We got a bunch of us here. It's going to be a little longer. So how many likes do we need here? Give me the number.
It's kind of a hurtful number. We're 50 minutes into the show. I feel like we're doing a good job bringing some entertainment as well as the plays, but maybe people just want the plays. I don't know. Stop talking so much smack, but I think we need 225 to get the plays of the day, because I got a couple spicy ones. I'm not keeping it to 1 today. I got some low-owned home runs coming your way.
All right, well, I mean, we can make this thing faster if you want, DC. I'll make it fast. Max Muncy, pay up for him at second base or pay down for Segura. That's all I got for you, DC. What do you got at second?
Yeah, I love Max Muncy. I think I listed him 3rd at second base. I do like the Astros. We haven't talked about them much. Jose Altuve, obviously always a strong play. I did list Jorge Polanco for the Twins as the number 2, just because just all in on the Twins here. And then, Muncy I had 3rd, Jonathan India 4th in the playbook, and then Cesar Hernandez couple interesting stacks there. I think the Reds and the Indians I did list there, but yeah, a lot of Altuve, Polanco, and Muncy for me. So I'm with you, Travis.
If you want to check out DC's playbook and his rankings, use that code OPEN50 to get 50% off and get all the content. You'll get MMA, NASCAR, everything. We got it all over here at Run Pure Sports. Hoop, give me your second baseman here on this slate.
Yeah, the Phillies guys, I mean, Brad Miller, Segura, 3-2 and 3-3. I like the Cesar Hernandez call, Kiki Hernandez, Max Muncy. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Someone in the chat had mentioned about Brad Miller on FanDuel. Yes, he is still 2K and phenomenal play on FanDuel. An absolute phenomenal play at the minimum. So I do like him at first base. But yeah, second base, it's going to be those Phillies guys. Kiki, Max Muncy, I think is the best spend. He's up there 5'8", but like we talked about at pitching, he can make any hitter salary really work today. So Muncy would be the premier play here for me.
And we got Holden in the chat. He says he needs Steve's Mexican restaurant bathroom play of the day, which hit a bomb, right? It was Framil Reyes. I had Reyes too, right? So it was aligned with that. So I want to know what Steve's is as well. See if we're aligned again. Uncle T, give me your second baseman on this slate. Who do you got?
Yeah, I've got Max Muncy number one on my board. If you've got the money and want to go up, I like Max Muncy. I do like the Astros as well. I actually looking at this slate even more once I hopped on even more with you guys to look at the games. I'm going to be targeting that Boston game, and I'm going to be targeting both sides of this Oakland-Houston game. I may just scratch off, a bunch of these games right off the bat for me, and just target a couple, good hitting spots. So I do like the Oakland, Texas side, and the Houston, my bad. Houston and the Yankees, my bad. But yeah, Altuve, he feels really cheap at 4.9K. He gets a lefty there, so can't go wrong there. Segura down there at 3.3K. Him and Real Muto at the top of that order are going to be chalky, but you can try to get different somewhere else. It just feels like they're way too cheap. So I'm just going to play them and try to get different somewhere else. And then the only other guy I'll mention, I don't think you guys did, Chris Taylor, 5.2K. I've been playing him quite a bit, and, he's just a really good hitter. So I'm sure he'll crack the lineup, probably be batting, 5th or 6th in that lineup tonight for the Dodgers.
All right, let's move on over. Let's go to the third baseman. And DC, the Twins, they are solid today. I can't deny it. Josh Donaldson, 5'3", definitely in play. Luis Arias, right? If he's in the lineup, I haven't seen that Twins lineup yet, but 3-4, you have to like him as well. So this is your chance, DC. Talk about the Twins.
Well, yeah, the captain who does a lot of our kind of behind the scenes projections work and all that stuff is he's telling me that Alex Kirilloff is not in the lineup. I haven't seen that myself, but I'm a little shaken here, so I might have to adjust because the question isn't
Kirilloff's batting 5th.
That's what I thought too. So we'll see.
Yeah, lineup is Luis. It's Josh Donaldson, Warnock
okay.
in the 3-hole, Cruz, Kirilloff, Polanco, Kepler, Sano, and Ben Rodver, I think is how you say it, 2K catcher.
Yeah. So the question isn't if you're stacking the Twins, it's just which 5 Twins are you going to play, right? You can only fit 5 into your lineup. Very hurtful. I would play the whole lineup if I could tonight against Matt Manning. But yeah, so Josh Donaldson doesn't quite make the cut because I just think there are better values. I prefer him against the lefty. I do like Luis Arias hitting leadoff more than him for the value tonight. So yeah, the Twins guys, of course, good plays. Plenty of other good plays though at third base rather. There's a lot of them. Rafael Devers in Boston. The dude's been a monster against Vince Velasquez, who gets crushed by left-handed hitters. Tremendous play. Manny Machado against Kyle Freeland, who has nothing this year. A tremendous play. Juan Moncada, right, in Baltimore against Jorge Lopez. A great play. Jose Ramirez, I listed number 1. He's 5,100. Nice discount for him against Brad Keller, who doesn't offer much. So there are just a lot of ways to go at third base. One maybe kind of sneaky one, Luis Urias for the Milwaukee Brewers. He was kind of a top prospect coming up a couple of years ago, busted out for the Padres. I think they traded him to Milwaukee. He's been on fire. A couple home runs in his last 3 games. The price has come up with his production, so you're not going to get a discount, but 4,900, I think people are just going to scroll right past him. So leading off for the Brewers, if you're playing tournaments, I think you can get him, I would assume maybe under 5% owned against the lefty. And I think he's a pretty strong play as well. So yeah, third base just loaded tonight.
All right, Hoop, we got Fran in the chat. He said Moncada 2-7 on FanDuel, and Justin Turner's 3-1, right? And there's some good FanDuel third baseman price tags. It's loaded at third base today, Hoop. What is your projection model saying with all the third basemen today?
Yeah, those guys are definitely up there in FanDuel. Great price tags for Turner and Moncada on DK. Both those guys are in play, but I mean, you have Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, Devers, Donaldson. I mean, I think I want to spend here. I mean, you have some really, really good options. We have the salary to make it all work. I guess I'd probably lean Devers as my favorite. Luis Arraez, 3.4K. And then if you want a full punt, we have Asdrubal Cabrera. He's 2.1K. I mean, DraftKings hates the Diamondbacks, and probably rightfully so. I mean, they're a terrible team.
They really do hate them tonight, though. They just nuked all their friends.
Yeah, they're just completely down. So, it's probably a spend-up spot, though. We have some elite hitters here in really good spots.
All right, Uncle T, I got to ask you a question because we have a knee house in the house, right? And this was talked about on the show yesterday, and Steve Anthony brought it up. So you have that McDonald's today, right? Let's say it starts creeping up on you, Uncle T. Big T, he hits the bathroom, right, to take a number 2, and the shirt comes off, right? He has shirtless bathroom sessions. Is that a knee house thing? I mean, we need the breakdown here on this one, Uncle T.
No, Big T's on his own on that one. I don't go full nude on that session at all. No, I listened to you guys yesterday and I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. But Big T has these quirky things about him, and that must be one of them.
Not generally
have you ever witnessed it? Not that you've watched him in the bathroom, but have you ever seen him walk into the bathroom and take his shirt off before he strides in there?
I can't confirm that. Like I said, I try to stay away from Big T when he's in his own private area. I mean, Mangone's actually gotten a little bit closer than I have. Mangone's done a show from Big T's workbench before. I've not even done that. So, Mangone might be the guy to ask, not me.
I will say the shirtless session is not that bad. And today I did it, I made sure to do it. I was like, I got an opportunity here. I'm going to do the shirtless session. But I think the real thing DC wants to know is when you see the guy on Thanksgiving, right, unnotches the belt. Oh, time to go to the bathroom. Uncle T, does he just pull the shirt off when he gets off the couch and start walking over to the toilet? Is that how it goes, Uncle T?
Like I said, I have no idea. I can't give you anything on this one. I don't know. I was listening yesterday. I had no idea what he was talking about. So he's on his own on this topic. So not for me.
All right. Well, give us your third baseman here. What are you doing at third base, Uncle T? Are you playing guys taking their shirts off after they hit some home runs? What are you doing here, Uncle T?
Yeah, with the way, obviously, as the show's gone and everybody, obviously, with the pitching and us being able to have a lot of money to spend probably, Rafael Devers is my number one guy on the board. But again, they mentioned a lot of the same guys. A couple they didn't mention, Eugenio Suarez at 4K against Lauer. I like that matchup for Suarez. And also Kyle Seager, 3.8K in the late game against Cobb. Cobb's been pretty good, but it feels like 3.8K for Kyle Seager is a pretty good price tag. So I do like those two. I'm probably going to spend up, but if you had a build where you needed to save at third base, those are two good guys to look at.
By the way, just so you know, we got people in the chat that are on the side of me and Big T right now, right? Even Holden, he said, tried it this morning.
Holden doesn't count. Holden doesn't count in any tally when it
tried it this morning. Izzy's on board. Beanair's all about it. I mean, listen, don't knock it till you try it, guys. It's not that bad. It's a little refreshing, as Holden said. So, Hoop, we didn't get your take too much on it. Are you going to try it at all? I mean, you got to give it a shot now. I mean,
if I wake up
no way Hoop does it. No way.
I mean, if I have a shirt on when it's time to go, I leave the shirt on. If I don't have a shirt, if I wake up in the morning, I don't sleep with the shirt. If I wake up and have to take a dump, I walk into the bathroom without a shirt and take a dump. I'm not rearranging my clothing to get ready to do business.
This is the correct take right here. This is
you're right.
I mean, intentionally taking your shirt off to take a dump.
No, my son strips down all the way down and takes it. I thought kids did that stuff, not adults. I just go when I need to go, I go. I'm not going to adjust my outfit to go take a shit.
After hearing this, I'm worried that maybe Big T. I know he likes the workbench. Is that his kid, Hoop? Can we confirm? Does he have the knee house hair?
Yeah, maybe. I got to keep Big T away from Mrs. Hoop, I guess.
Oh man, that's too good. But Hoop, we'll go over to you. Let's talk about the shortstops, right? I mean, Tatis, right? We can't ignore him here against the lefty. I know we talked about a lot of spend up guys, but hey, we got some money to spend, it feels like today. There's some cheap pitchers. So what are you doing with Tatis? Are you spending on him or are you spending down at shortstop?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to play Tatis, and I love him. It's obviously a phenomenal matchup against Freeland. Absolutely play Tatis. I mean, not going to make an argument against him. Xander Bogaerts, I really like. We got a cheapie. Let's say Elvis Andrews is 3.4K. You can play him. But my favorite tournament play is going to be Gregorius, Didi Gregorius for the Phillies. He's batting 7th. That should keep his ownership down. I mean, I absolutely love the Phillies today. DC loves the Phillies today. But he's batting 7th, and I think that keeps his ownership down. He looked really good at the plate yesterday. Hit that bomb and had like 2 or 3 other hits as well. Batting 7th against Garrett Richards. I mean, sign me up for him, especially in tournaments. I think we get him at low ownership.
All right, Hoop, we got in the chat, shirtless25 is the new promo code. That's not true, right, Hoop? It's open 50. Open 50, it gets you 50% off your first payment, and it gets you some DK Millie Maker tickets that'll be given out on the free PGA show on Tuesday night. It won't be that code. DC, we'll go over to you. Shortstops, who are you doing here? Are you paying up? You always like to pay at shortstop, so it seems like a good time to spend up for Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, certainly. Once the open starts and open 50 expires, and we need a new promo code, I think we need to go with shirtless BigT, all capital letters. And you sign up with shirtless BigT, you get what's the number? 44% off. I think your first month's payment and a free RPS shirt, right? I think I figured it out for you guys.
So you take you take your shirt off that you're wearing when you go in there, and you have the RPS one hanging ready to go when you're done doing business.
We need a video, not of you on the shitter, but of you taking your shirt off before you go in there. So
I will say we could do, man. I don't want to suggest this, but imagine if we did a ticket giveaway of people just taking selfies on the toilet with the shirts.
It could.
You can pick the winner for that one.
I'm not picking that winner.
We'll let Holden pick that winner.
Great call there, Uncle T. That's definitely the guy who needs to pick.
I'm sorry. I keep getting distracted. Back to shortstop. Yeah, Tatis, I think, is clearly the top option here against Freeland. And listen, you can afford him, right? I think this is one of the spots where I'm kind of debating whether I should play Gregorius and leave 2 to 3K on the table or upgrade to Tatis, right? It's kind of a tough call there. But yeah, Tatis, Gregorius, I think 2 top options. Trey Turner has just been on fire, gets a good matchup again tonight. Brandon Crawford, I mentioned him frequently, never owned, gets Espino and the Washington bullpen. He's a good bet for a home run. And then a true kind of, I guess, sneaky option if you need the savings, which you probably don't. Ramon Urias for Baltimore, hitting, I think, 5th or 6th for them. Haven't talked about him a ton on this show, but I've liked what I've seen from him. He's a rookie. He's 2,500. He gets a good matchup here against Dallas Keuchel. So if for whatever reason you need the savings at shortstop, he would be the guy I would go to.
All right, let's get those likes up, guys. We need 20 more, and then we'll give away those plays. So let's get those moving. Also want to mention we got best ball content over here at Run Pure. If you subscribe to the channel, you can find it. It's listed under NFL, so be sure to check out those shows. And we got more coming here as the summer approaches towards the NFL. Uncle T, hit me with it, though. Give me your shortstops on this slate.
Yeah, the first couple guys on my board at third base are going to be Xander Bogaerts. Again, I'm just going to target that game. Really like it. I thought the total would come up 10.5 last night on the pod. It's sitting at 11. It could go to 11.5. So I think there's going to be some fireworks in that game. So I like Xander Bogaerts. Also like Carlos Correa as you go down. Correa didn't make the lineup, did he? No, my bad. Correa didn't make the lineup. You guys can give me a hard time about that too. He didn't make the lineup. But going down a little bit, I've got Didi Gregorius as well, like Coop mentioned. Francisco Lindor is an even 4K in that matchup against Brubaker. I don't mind that. And then if you all the way back up, Crawford in that game with San Francisco against Espino. I do like Brandon Crawford. He's been killing the ball. 5.3K. We're not going to worry about salary too much tonight, so I really like Brandon Crawford.
All right, let's go on over to the outfield. DC, I'll go to you. This is your time. Talk about Trevor Larnach. Talk about anyone else you want to talk about, but this is your chance. So talk up those Twins.
I appreciate that, Travis, giving me the chance to talk about baseball on the show. Yeah, I did list Trevor Larnach number one outfield play today in the playbook, obviously exclusive to Run Pure Sports subscribers. Right after him, Nelson Cruz. I list Kirilloff fifth, so it tells you kind of how I feel about the Twins today. And then between them, number 3 and number 4, I went with Bryce Harper and Andrew McCutchen in Boston. Those are my teams today. The Twins and the Phillies, I think, are going to do a lot of damage. Other guys I'm looking at more so perhaps as one-offs. Nick Castellanos gets a bad lefty. He's just crushed them for years and years, including recently. Joey Gallo, I think, is going to be very sneaky tonight. No one's been hotter than him ever since the foreign substance crackdown. I've talked about a little bit about this on the pod, where these massive power but low contact guys have really risen to the forefront in the last 2 or 3 weeks, because Gallo, you put his strikeout rate from 35% to 26% because the balls aren't spinning as much, and you get a lot more home runs. We've seen it from Gallo. I think he's a good play. Cole Irvin, who he opposes for the A's, has actually been worse against lefties, so he's a really strong option. I'll throw Jordan Alvarez, Alex Verdugo. I think Boston, we haven't actually mentioned that many Boston guys, and I'd have way more way more Twins and Phillies, but Boston certainly a good stack here as well. So outfield loaded as always, but I'm going with Twins and Phillies for most of my guys here.
All right, Hoop, Uncle T, Draft Cheat, he mentioned Harper, he mentioned McCutchen. I think those are 2 guys you're going to like. You love those Phillies. Who are some other outfielders you're on this slate?
Yeah, I love the Phillies. I mean, Brad Miller, you can play in the outfield too at 3.2. I mean, Andrew McCutchen, that's a silly price tag, 3.2K. Phillies are just priced poorly on DK, and actually, based on this slate, that might work in our advantage because people will be looking to force in spend ups. Without the pitching options, they're probably play 2 cheaper pitchers, and then they're going to load up on the expensive bats. With these Phillies guys being so cheap, maybe that helps their ownership a little bit. Love them, love Larnach. The Padres guys, Pham and Will Myers, I think are very strong options tonight. The Orioles, the Orioles outfielders continue to be really cheap. So, Santander, Hayes, Mullins, I think you can look at all those guys. Cody Bellinger, I like as well. This is going to be a spot though. Max Kepler batting 7th, kind of similar to Gregorius. Like batting 7th is going to keep his ownership really, really low. I have interest in him too. But this is a position that, I'll be stacking tonight, and I'm going to kind of just play, the outfielders in my stack.
All right, Uncle T, are you playing the outfielders in your stack, or are you taking some one-offs? What are you doing here, Uncle T?
Yeah, I love the Bellinger call there, Hoop. I didn't think anybody would bring him up. 4,500. He's one of my favorite outfielders on the board. I like him at 4,500 in that late game. I like Castellanos against Lauer is one of my guys. And then as well as you go down the list here a little bit, Verdugo. I know DC maybe had Boston as his maybe 3rd or 4th. I think Boston's going to be my top stack of the night against Velasquez in that ballpark. So I actually have quite a few of these Boston guys. So even Kike Hernandez at 4,600, I don't mind him. And even though I like him more against lefties, Hunter Renfroe at 3.7K batting 6th. Again, like him more against lefties, but he's been hitting the ball pretty well, so I don't mind that. And then I had one more guy down here. Kirilloff. Did anybody mention Kirilloff in the Minnesota stack? DC probably mentioned him, but I do like Kirilloff down there at 3 point.
Talk about
maybe the most talked about hitter on the show, Uncle T.
I was dealing with my dog. I got no one here in the house but me. I jumped on the show and my dog's going crazy. So.
All right. Well, Uncle T, while we got you here, hit us with your stacks, right? Who are the stacks you're looking at on this slate? And then you can tend to the dog if you need to. We also got the plays of the day, so don't forget about that.
No, we're good. Like I said, I think I'm going to Boston is my top stack on the board tonight. So the couple of stacks up top I like. Boston probably number 1, Minnesota number 2. No surprise in those at all, obviously. And then number 3 is probably going to be Houston in that game against Oakland. and one off the kind of, down the road, off the road a little bit stack. Cincinnati, I really like. I haven't heard a whole lot of talk about Cincinnati tonight. I'm not a fan of Lauer at all. And I think the Reds, I love targeting them against left-handed pitching. So as far as bats, so I'll use the Reds as my kind of lower owned stack tonight.
All right, DC, hit me with it. Give me your stacks on this slate.
Yeah, keep it simple. And I've talked about both these teams extensively and the pitchers they're going against. 2 stacks for me today, Twins and Phillies.
All right, Twins and Phillies for old draft cheat. Hoop, who are your stacks? I know the Phillies are one of them. Give me the other ones.
Love the Phillies. I mean, by far my favorite team on the slate. Then number 2, I'll go Dodgers. Kind of, on a different slate, not a huge slate. I think they'd be really, really highly owned tonight. I don't think they're going to have all that high ownership. So I like the Dodgers.
All right. I love the White Sox. I love the Dodgers, Phillies. Those are 3 that I'm definitely keying in on this slate. Let's go to the plays of the day, though. We'll go over to you first, Hoop. Give us that 4X play of the day.
Yeah, DC mentioned that he was going with the bonus. I'm going to bonus too. I'm giving 2, and I feel really good about both these guys hitting bombs tonight. The first one is a guy I've talked up a ton at shortstop, Didi Gregorius. Should not have that high ownership, adding 7th. Then I'm going to another stock that I like in the 7 hole. Max Kepler is going to hit a bomb for us too. So give me the Didi Kepler combo bomb tonight.
All right. I mean, if we talk about Max Kepler, we got to go over to you, DC, right away, right? We got to get another twin in there. I'm sure you got one of those. But give me your 2. Who are the guys who are the Miles Mason play of the day?
Oh yeah, man, tough to choose between the Twins guys. I don't want to take Kirilloff because Uncle T is the only one that brought him up all show, so I'll leave that to Uncle T. But I'm gonna give a pitcher and a hitter here. I think Alek Manoah. If you play him, I think you are going to be pleased at the end of this slate. I think he is going to do some work against Tampa Bay, maybe at some pretty low ownership too. So he's the pitcher, and then of course sticking with the Twins. Going with my guy, Trevor Larnach. Got to do it, especially on a show with you, Travis. You banned me from talking about Trevor Larnach. He's cost us before. He's going to make it back tonight. Double dong for Trevor Larnach here.
Well, DC, I know you love the Twins. You say this is a can't miss spot. You say absolutely they can't miss. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what Titletown does, right? Try to get a bet that's plus EV for me. So Jose Abreu against Alex Kirilloff. That's my play of the day.
Yes, I will take the bet. Yep.
All right, lunch bet. DC, you got Alex Kirilloff. I got Jose Abreu. Straight out raw points. I'm feeling good. That is my play of the day. Jose has treated me well. I said the heater is starting. He's been crushing it ever since. We're going to go for it again. Give me Jose Abreu. He's my play of the day. Uncle T, we'll go over to you. Give me your play of the day.
Yeah, I'm going down to that Houston game, and I'm going to go with Jose Altuve, and I think he's going to have a leadoff home run tonight, and I think he may hit his second home run and maybe the 6th or 7th inning off of a reliever. So I think Jose Altuve gets it done tonight as my play of the day.
All right. Jose Altuve is the play of the day there. That's it, though, for us, right? You had the free show. You got the premium show coming up next. You got JSU. You got Big T. You got Holden. They'll be breaking it all down for you. Also, don't miss out on the MMA show tomorrow. Also want to mention, I got free lunch from Uncle T, and I got it on DC now. I mean, I baited him into the bet. We're all good. Hopefully I can get it home, but we'll have to see. DC, final thoughts here before we get on out of here.
I mean, listen, if Jose Abreu puts up a 40 spot, maybe he'll beat Kirilloff, but other than that, you're drawn dead.
All right. Well, I guess your projection model has him for 39. So I got to bump my model to make him the 40. So that way he's out projecting yours. But that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. Check out the premium. Use that code OPEN50 for 50% off. For me, Mangone, DC, Uncle T, and Hoop. See you guys later.